Good evening. Can you hear me well? Can you
Yeah,
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can see me as well, right?
Yeah, so yeah, sure.
Okay, so I will first of all just like some sort of disclaimer, just relax yourself and just let me say instantly. Um, someone once corrected this, but I also think it's very true. So especially for someone who has funding, just like the previous person said, it's about your ability to convince the VO that this visa they want to give you, that you truly deserve to be given this visa. And because it's a very short process. I think someone's mic is unmuted. I don't know.
let me mute everyone. Okay, you can go ahead now. I think everyone is muted.
Okay. So let me just say this very briefly, since other people are just going to have their own interview as well. Number one, what really helped me in my own visa interview process was understanding that it was going to be a conversation. The VO is not a god, he's a human being, and he's just simply doing his job. And if a school found me that worthy and granted me like a fully funded scholarship for studies, I honestly do not see reason why I should fumble at the visa interview stage. Of course, we know it's an interview and it comes with a lot of fear associated with it, but you've got to tell yourself that you are enough. So you're simply coming to have a conversation with the VO. He asks you a question, you respond with the appropriate answers. That's why we're doing this mock interview to also help you fine tune your answers that could be very good. You know, he's not going to slaughter you. You're simply having a conversation with the VO, and the individual told us that if someone asks you what you ate for breakfast this morning or in the morning, is you don't need to think about it. You don't need to scratch your head. You tell the individual that you had probably bread and tea for breakfast in the morning, and it's very easy to do that. When a viewer asks you a question and probably you've prepared yourself, it's very easy for you to answer those questions. But what we're going to be doing here is to help you know how to have more structured answers to those questions. Given that the time frame is also very short, you know how to give very concise, precise answers as well. All right.
All right, thank you.
So, all right. Okay. So we are starting now. So I'll try to do this probably in the next 5 minutes if it's okay. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Can I have your documents?
Okay, here they are.
All right, thank you. I see you're going to Texas State University.
Yes.
Yeah. Why Texas State University?
Okay. Texas State University is one of the five major states supported and multidisciplinary universities at Texas that offers transformational education, which is bordered on their cutting-edge facilities and well-trained professors that help me achieve my career goal and advance in my career as well. And the state of art and well-established laboratories such as the nucleic acid laboratory, the protein chemistry, which has well facilities such as NMR, PCR, and other machines that could help me working in achieving my long-term career goal are one of the things that made me to choose Texas Tech University.
Okay. Sounds like a very good answer. But so remember that this interview is going to be like most times maximum, unless the viewer actually wants to pre you. Sometimes most interviews don't exceed 3 minutes. I may be wrong. There are other people here on the platform too who have also gone for those interviews. Your answer looks very good, but it looks like as though you crammed it. It doesn't look natural in terms of the response. So there are a lot of plausible answers you could give to this video that will actually there are a lot of good stuff you said in your answer, but it looks like you crammed it. For example, you mentioned something about state-of-the-art facility in Texas State University. There are a lot of other reasons you could also give the view that is very natural. So for the whole schools, I applied to Texas State University, gave me a fully funded scholarship to a PhD program with health insurance and monthly stipends to take care of myself. And furthermore, you could also mention the name of a professor whose research, you're going for a PhD program, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you could also mention the name of a professor whose research work was one of the reasons you're going to Texas State University. You could mention this scholarship, but they gave you a fully funded scholarship. You wouldn't want to come do PhD on a partial funding, it's full funding. And the VO could also do that. Or just talk about a little bit about the department and just let it be free flowing and not look like it's crammed. And again, like people always say, communication is 80% body language and it is about what you say with your words. Your composure is very important. You can be saying what is right, but you're fidgeting, and the VO will think or thinks he's probably afraid or the answers were crammed. Just be very calm, answer. And that's why people take time to prep for their visa interviews, have like some sort of custom made answers that are straight to the point, because it's a 3 minutes process, sometimes less than that. We've seen people who have gotten their visas in 22 seconds. Some have been denied in less than that time, so your answers were great, but they looked like as though you know what to say at the next point. Make it very precise and fairly straight to the point for the president. Okay.
Yeah.
So a very plausible answer to say could be that the university gave you a fully funded scholarship, and you're also going to be getting monthly stipend, plus a health insurance policy, or just mention the research work you're going to be doing. And Texas State University was the best place you could carry out such research. It's also very good, and they have state-of-the-art facilities like you mentioned. But let the answer not be so lengthy. So Stanley, I wouldn't know, do you want us to, do I repeat this or I just go ahead and then he makes the correction, or is he supposed to make the correction on the call, or he makes the correction much later?
Yeah, I think you should just conclude the interview, then we all react, because I'm jotting down.
Oh, all right. So I shouldn't have corrected him on the call, right?
Yeah, just continue.
Okay.
At the end of the
All
day,
right. All right.
we either approve or disapprove.
All right. Sure. There's no problem. So my bad. All right. So let's go back. All right. So let's get back.
Okay.
All right. So I see you're going for a PhD in chemistry. Can you tell me a little bit about your research?
Okay. I want to do a PhD in chemistry because I've long time had a desire and goal to work on hepatitis drug, which has not been in existence both in Nigeria and over the world, because all we have is kind of what's it called? Management-related drugs and not a curative drug for hepatitis. And I had my BSc in biochemistry at a University, where I finished a CGPA of 4.03 over 5.0. And I carried out a research work on a plant sample, not too known, that has been reported to be used by herbal medical traditionals in treatment of hepatitis. So I did a qualitative analysis of bioactive components in that said plant. And in my master's degree, I quantified and extracted some active components of these plants in my thesis, which I finished in February 2023, a master's degree in biochemistry at Federal University of Taraba State. And I believe that a PhD in chemistry will help me to work more and fine-tune this said research, which I'll be doing under Professor Shea at Texas Tech University, who happens to be one of the most prominent person under pharmaceutical chemistry, who is already working on Alzheimer's disease with the help of serotonin in administration of the drug to carry out the research.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So what do you currently do now?
Okay, presently I work as a graduate assistant at the Federal University of Taraba State, where I do independent class instructor, teaching undergraduates basic biochemistry, molecular biology, nucleic acid, protein chemistry, and also I assist professors in carrying out examinations and preparing lecture materials and notes for them. as well as doing other reviewing articles and for publications as well. And I work at the central laboratory where I do molecular biology related works as well.
Okay. Are you married?
No, I'm not married. I'm
Do you have a
single.
child?
No, I don't have any child.
That will be all from me for now. All right. So Stanley, over to you. I think I've concluded the interview. So.
Oh, well, I think my reaction to this, one or two, because I was jotting down one or two things when he was making his case. So you have a very nice profile, but first, in that place, because like in my own case, 2 questions. They asked me just 2 questions, and the first question was, why this course? Why this master? So I think you have a great point there, but you should talk of how it's going to affect you first. As in, you should make your points, prioritize your points. The most important ones comes first, and then those other ones can come second, third, fourth. Why I said it is because you may not have all the time, because this is mock interview. We always allow people to flow, to flow, but it's not like that in the real world. In the real interview, they will not give you the time. So if you go and be picking the ones that are not necessary at the first, and then leaving the ones that are necessary at the end, you may not have time to get there, and it becomes a problem for you. So I think, why these masters? Because I am currently working as a graduate assistant in so university, and I'm going for this course in order to upgrade from my level as a graduate assistant to assistant lecturer. This was my own answer. I don't know how you see it, but I feel that, and why I gave this answer was because there was one correction that this guy gave me, that gave me the day he did interview for me. He said, you should be a little bit he said you should be a little bit selfish in your interview, because when he interviewed me, I started by saying I want to do this master's because I love this course. I started talking about the course, started discussing about the relevance of the course to the society. So when he told me, yes, it is good you talk of the relevance of that course you're going to study to the society, to every other person, but you should first of all talk about the relevance of what you're going for to you. What is, because this, you are the number one. So that was why I said I streamlined my points in such a way that I made my job, my promotion, that is number one. And that is, if you look at it generally, this is why people go for further studies. So it's more practical to say, I'm going to upgrade, I'm going to take this course in order to upgrade from my current level as a graduate assistant to probably assistant lecturer, or to lecturer 1 or to lecturer 2, whichever thing that is the next level after graduate assistant. And then when you say that, because that one will not even take you 30 seconds to say, why going for this course, or why going for this PhD. Say, I'm going for it in order to upgrade from current level that I am in my current university. You mentioned the university. That has also taken care of, to an extent, the next question of where do you work, or what do you currently do? So, most, like in my own, like I told you in my own interview, when I mentioned that, they didn't ask me again, where do you work? They didn't ask me again, what do you currently do? The next last question was, how do you cover this? You have a little deficit. How do you cover this deficit? And then I said, in my current job, I have a study leave with pay. So whatever they're going to pay me will be augmented with the monthly stipend that I'll be getting from my studies when I get to United States. That's all. And she said, "Oh, your visa is approved." Blah, 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 blah. So that was how my interview went. So, and I think, when you answer some of these questions, when you place that one, because I placed this one as number one, she didn't go far to now ask me more questions about where do you work and all that. She just asked me, why going for this course? I just said, I'm going for this course in order to upgrade from my current level as a graduate assistant to assistant lecturer in my current job at Michael Okpara University of Agriculture, Mudike. So I was now going forward to say, so why I want to now study this course is because this course is relevant in my area, that studying this course will help me to. So when I was now trying to say that one, she cut me off and said, "Oh, I see you have some kind of deficit. So how do you cover this deficit?" And I went to the next. So that is my correction. It's good you talk about the research interest, the research, talking about, I love those ones, but take this one first, put this one number one. If you say half time, if she didn't cut you, you go to the number two. If you didn't cut you off, you go to number two. But if she cuts you off there, you just end it there. You have made a very strong point that you are going for this masters in order, because then you have also taken care of the issue of you are gonna come back, because whenever you go to the embassy, they are looking for a way for you to come back to Nigeria. They are looking for home ties. So when you say you are going for this course in order for you to upgrade from your current level as a graduate assistant to this, so that at the end of the day, you will come back and take up your position. So it means, in fact, with that answer, you have actually covered a lot of things. With that answer, you have actually covered a lot of questions that they are going to ask you about home ties. Because the two major things in visa interview or visa approval is, number one, funding, and then number two, your home ties. If you cover these two things in your visa, I'm telling you, you have your visa approved 90%. You have at least, in fact, you have like 90% chances of your visa being approved. Why your visa may not be approved is probably you made one mistake or the other in your DS-160. So that's another point. I don't know how you have failed your DS-160. So if you have not filled your DS-160 very well, I think you can still go back and retrieve it. And during my time, I retrieved my DS-160 more than three or four times. Each time I attend one interview, I will learn one correction there, and then I will just go back, change it, go back, retrieve it, and start again. So I filled that DS-160 for like 4 times, even though I've submitted it. But after each interview I attend, I will learn one thing, and then I will go back and retrieve it again, and go back there and make that correction. So your DS-160 is, in fact, whether people believe it or not, DS-160 is an opportunity for you to either get your visa or not. If you make any single mistake there, I'm telling you, you're not gonna get, even though you have a full funding. One of the places I went and corrected during my DS-160 was, I attended one of the interviews. Somebody that was denied said that he didn't feel he's going for masters. So he only failed his BSc. He didn't feel his WAEC. And I remember that I did the same mistake. I ran back and filled my O-level certificate and everything, information. And then another person said he made a mistake of filling, because that DS-160, you need to fill the higher certificate first, then the next one second, then the next one third. And someone is going for PhD, and he went and filled O-level first. Some of these little mistakes, you may see it as it doesn't matter, but it matters a lot. Because even in your CV, you and I know that in CV, you place the highest certificate first. if you're under the work experience stage, you place the most current job first before you now place other ones sequentially, you know. So, but someone in his DS-160 went and failed O-level as number one before BSc, and at the end of the day, he was denied. So these are the things, and nobody will tell you this. The VA will not even tell you this. So your DS-160, I don't know how you have done it, but I think you should, after today's corrections, if there is any mistake you've made there, I don't know about what you have felt about, did you have any relation in the US, all those things. So I think these are the points I wrote down during the time you are making your, I think you have a very nice case. You have a very good this thing. The only thing you need to do now is just take one or two corrections. So I will leave the floor open for probably Obinna and Emma if they have anything to add to what I've said. Obi, are you there? Obi, you
Yeah,
have
hello. Oh, sorry.
anything to add? Obi.
Yeah, Stanley, I'm here. So you guys have already treated the issue. I don't have any other thing to add.
Okay. Emma, are you there? Anything we are missing?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, that's a nice one. Beautiful one. Like, kudos to someone for crafting those um, thought-provoking questions. Um, but I'll just, my advice is like for the people that are going for the interview, just because there are a lot of people that the consular officers are interviewing, so you have to keep it very short, succinct.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
this doesn't take like 3 minutes. Very short. So like someone just say, tell me about research questions. Don't start saying all the methodology you use and all this. Just say, oh,
Yeah.
I was doing this research in so time, and I want to improve in it, and that is why I'm applying so person's lab, so
Yeah.
university in ISA. So with this, you have cut off everything because the more you show yourself, you don't know if the person that is interviewing you, maybe the person studied chemistry on your area, and they keep asking you questions, and you see you didn't know it because there's
It's
something you
possible.
say you say you use a qualitative method, and I want to ask you that thing. I know in chemistry they use quantitative. I don't know if they do qualitative in chemistry because qualitative is more of like ethnography, grounded theory, interview, and all those. So you have to keep the more succinct you keep your interview, the better for you. So that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, that's fine. That's a very nice observation there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ozioma, I think you're good to go. You're good. You're really good to go because you have the only thing.
Can I comment a little bit?
Yeah.
So I'm cutting you short because of time and all of that. So somehow from the little interaction I've had with him, I think he knows his onions. He knows what he's going to do. So chances are that if you meet him one on one on questions about his area of specialization, that he may not flop. So but let's just simply see the viewers as people who are impatient because of time. Sometimes I don't think they might even like their job, just coming to
Yeah.
ask random people you will never meet in your life again questions about why they're going to Texas State University. It doesn't look like it's a fun thing to do, but whatever you can do that will pay the bills. So just like my brother said earlier on, you've got to keep it very simple. Keep it very, like what I mean simple, like very concise, straight to the point. Answer the questions that you were asked, right? So one thing that can help you is don't just keep your answers to the heart. Put it down on paper. For example, if I'm anticipating that they will ask me what do I do for what was I doing or what do I do for a living? Oh, I'm a web development instructor at Rexham Computer Institute where I teach programming students how to develop websites using Python, CSS, HTML, React, or the Django, Django rather, and you know just write craft your question on like your answer on paper. Just make sure it doesn't cross some certain boundaries. Just like, but your answer should be able to substantiate or give enough answer to the question that was asked, but if you just have the answer from your head, you could just simply say things, and you don't know when you say one that would just incriminate you, or put you into problem. So what I personally did during my own turn was every singular question that was asked someone during mock interviews that I went to, I crafted my own personal answer. And because it's an opportunity for me to tell my story, the answers are very personal. I never use any person's transcript or look at anybody's story. It was mine. Why are you going to Worcester Polytechnic Institute? Oh, they are this, and this. Oh, and they gave me a fully funded scholarship with health insurance policy and monthly stipends to take care of myself, plus a couple of things. Your own answer must be very different. So if you keep saying things long, you might say something that might incriminate you. Don't keep the answers too short. Just let it be balanced as well. And finally, before I give the control back to Stanley, composure is super important. Composure is super important. I think it's very wrong in public speaking for you to have a lot of fillers. In as much as most of us are doing it here, but a very sound public speaker don't have a lot of word fillers. If you have your answers on paper and you've gone through them over and over, you could just meet someone, give the person an answer for an interview question. The person might not even ask you the question. Just have the answer on paper and work on your body.
Oh. Yeah, you need to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Oh, there. Oh, wait. Have you muted all this while?
Yeah. There was a time it was on. Although I
There's
think
no problem. Let me just.
I think we stopped at where you were telling him about his composure or something like that. I think that's where I stopped.
All right. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, communication is more of even body language than the words that you speak. I might be very wrong because I don't have any scientific facts to back my claims. Some of these guys have been trained on psychology. They can know when someone is telling lies or not. I might be wrong. So your body composure is important. It's very important. If two persons are having a conversation, it's different than when a boss is speaking to an employee in a company. The tonality, the composure, how the body slacks, and all of those things, they are very different. And you must learn some of these things. Just look the basic ones and know how to answer questions, smile at the end. I don't know, something of that nature. So composure is very important. So we couldn't decide some of those things because we are doing it over Zoom, but take time, have your answers on paper, anticipate any question possible. Don't just stop at the ones we asked you here.
Yeah.
Why working with a given professor? So write down the answer in case they might ask you this. Why going to Texas State? Why chemistry? Why a PhD? What do you intend to do when you are done with your PhD? A lot of questions you can just simply anticipate. When you have them and you practice over them, day by day, go through them, look at them, and somehow make the answers very personal. It's going to make your job a little bit easier than just having them off your heart. How I will know if you never wrote down these answers is if I ask you the same question again and you give me a different answer. And of course, also remember too that these questions can come. This same question I asked about why you're going to Texas State University could come in a different format.
Yeah.
And just there. So I personally think you're good to go. You know your onions, but work on the composure, work on how you answer the questions. Make it very brief, straight to the point, and all of that. So that's just my 50 cents.
Yeah, I think you have a
10 cents.
That's your listening is very, very nice. You have really run down the whole thing. Like I always tell people at the interview like this, at mock interview like this is we call it mock. It means it is mock. It is not real, but we try to make it real, but we call it mock. which means it is a replica of what you're going to meet there. So you need to, if you are not able, I attended, I'll be sharing my experiences in those days. I attended one of these interviews in those days when I was applying. And the guy that they were interviewing, he was shivering on Zoom call like this. The way the guy was shivering. And the question the acting VO asked him is, so if you cannot stand us that are your friends, then there will be problem. Someone you're meeting for the first time, at least you have been participating, because the guy was supposed to have been, we know they noticed that the guy had been attending the visa mock interview every time. Then I asked him, we noticed that you've been attending this interview all the time, but now that it is your turn to now speak, you are shivering. Then it means there is a problem. You can't survive the main interview. So part of why we hold visa mock interview is to reduce tension. Like Samuel said, these people are just normal human beings like you and I. They are not like what happened on that day. Immediately I stepped in, I said, "Good morning. How was your Salah celebration?" Because when I attended my interview, I think there was 2 days Salah celebration in Nigeria on Monday, Tuesdays. My interview was on Wednesday, so I was in Abuja on Sunday. And then I stayed in Abuja Monday, Tuesday. So after those 2 days, the next day was the interview. So I just stepped in, smiled at her, and said, "How was your?" Because you need to because these kind of things will make the tension to come down. I just told her, "How was your Salah celebration? Hope you had a nice time with your family." She said, "Yeah, well, cool. And then she was smiling when she was saying it. That thing made me too. Because before I met her, before I got to her, 4 persons have been denied already before me. Right in my presence.
Yeah, it could be very sad.
Right in my presence. Because we were 5. They were bringing us 5 inside. At the last stage, they were bringing us 5 inside. So I was the 5th person. The first person went, "I'm sorry, you did not qualify for visa. Please come here." Just that's English. They gave her a blue pepper. The next person, "I'm sorry, you did not qualify." I said, is this how this thing works? My mind entered as in I started shivering from that time. True. Even though I have for a long time, I can stand before 1,000 persons and speak. But imagine visa interview that I went, we were in the AC, but I was already feeling so hot, even though that place is cool. So I said, the 3rd person went, the same English, "I'm sorry, you do not qualify for visa." I said, who is qualified? If everybody is not qualified, who is now qualified? So the thing made me I started shaking. But fortunately for me, when it got to my turn, a new viewer came to a new window. And I was the next that would go. So I now went there. A lady, very white lady, immediately I was getting there, I told her, I just greeted her, "Good morning. How was your Salah celebration? Hope you had a nice time with your family." I was smiling. And so she smiled back at me. That smile that she gave me back, that smile brought the tension down on me. And then she now said, "Pass me your I-20 and your visa and your passport." I gave it to her and then we started. So just try to see a way. There will be tension, definitely. Even if you are even before me, there was even a former minister that attended before me. He went with his wife. I think they wanted to come for vacation in the US. So they went. A whole former minister was also shivering. So why can't you shiver? So anybody can shiver. It's normal. But the only thing is how you control it, how you make it not to affect the answers you're going to give. Because if you allow your shiver to interfere into the answers you're going to give, it will look like you're telling lies. And I watched a video of one guy like that, a Ghanaian guy. He came into the interview. Why I want to say this is because most times in the questions we ask here may not actually be the questions, may not replicate or may not come the same way we asked it. They might just come from the end. They might start from the beginning. So if you're going for visa interview, keep yourself open. That guy said he attended a lot of mock interviews before going to the main interview. And he has already crammed it because they will always start from why this masters, why this, which university are you going to? Are you married? Are you? So he crammed everything like that. But on stepping there, the first question that the viewer asked him was, what's your age? What's your date of birth? He was thrown off balance. What's the date? What the guy said? I watched his video on YouTube that time. He said, what business does my date of birth? You are saying, is my date of birth not on that DS1? Why asking me about my date of birth? And that guy was denied. According to him, he was denied that first time because they asked him, what's your date of birth? What's your age? He was saying 29, 28. You know, he wasn't sure of. He was not expecting that. The fact is that he was not expecting that question. That's just why. And then that was how they denied him. But he later attended again. I think he said in his second attempt he was approved. So anything is possible. Any question is possible. Just open your mind, make the floor to be conversational, and then you're good to go. Yeah.
So can I leave now? I have a piece coming up tomorrow, so let me go study.
Yeah. No problem. Obi,
thank you very much.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. You're welcome. Bye. So Obi, you handle the other guy, Henry.
Yes. So did the person upload his profile already? I don't need to see it.
Okay. Check. I think in the chat box, did it? Henry, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Good evening. Good morning.
Okay. So did you upload?
Okay.
Did you type in this? Are you the one that there's a guy that typed the name of the school and listen in the chat box? Did you type?
Okay. Stanley, we can just do the interview.
Okay.
If that is okay.
Okay, just go ahead. Type. Just go ahead and okay. He has typed Michigan Technology University. Okay. You should write your funding. Your okay. Obi, you know what? You know how to ask him now. So you have the floor.
Okay. So the person's name is Henry, right?
Yeah, Henry.
Okay.
Henry, unmute yourself and put your video. Because we need to be seeing your face. Your place is dark. Okay.
No, I have lights.
Okay.
Okay. Hello, Henry.
Good morning.
So I will be asking you some questions to help you prepare for your F1 visa interview. So
Okay.
before I start the questions, I want to kind of like say something to you and to others who are preparing to go for their F1 visa interview. So the first thing I have to tell you guys is that, I mean, this is not as difficult as people make it seem, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want people sweating or feeling so scared of F1 visa interview. Now, the way I see it is that your chances of getting your F1 visa, like I would say the majority of the chances is actually in your hands. And I say this because most of what they look at is your preparation. They want to know if you are a serious student, okay? And they also want to know if you can fund your education in the United States. And this is where having funding, okay, or tuition waiver comes in. So if you have a decent profile, you should go into the embassy with a lot of confidence, knowing that, I mean, maybe 80% chance you will get your visa. So people should not be scared, okay? When I see people talking about trying to answer questions, they look so scared, and I'm like, I mean, this is not that difficult. It is not that hard at all.
I did tell you.
In fact, for me, if you ask me, I would say that this is my F1 visa interview was the easiest I have had in my whole life. Okay, and I have done internships and I have done interviews for all of these internships, and this F1 is the easiest. So people should just relax. What matters is build your profile, okay? Apply to good schools, try to get funding, and you'll be okay. Okay, so Henry, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so my first question to you is please, where are you going to in the US?
I'm going to Michigan Technological University for my master's.
Okay, please, why did you choose that university?
I chose university because after my research, I found that it can actually give me the best of what I want.
Okay, so I
Can you
may
hear
be
me?
taking, yeah, I can hear you, but I may be taking some pauses because I'm writing down some comments I want to give you at the end. Okay. Yeah.
Which is the same way it is done in the interview. Most times when you are doing interview, like when I attended, after saying something, the VO will be typing something. She'll be typing something. So at that point, if you have more points that are valid, you can add them.
Okay. My next question is, how did you know about the school?
Okay, I come across about the school through my online search on Google.
What program are you going for?
I'm going for master's in geology.
What was your undergrad degree in?
My BSc was done in geology.
Okay. When did you finish your bachelor's degree?
In the year 2017.
So that's a long time ago. What have you been doing since then?
After my studies, I went for my national NYSC, which is mandatory for Nigerian graduates. And as well, after my NYSC, I ventured into my profession through the help of one of my lecturers into borehole drilling and construction purposes, such as doing some laboratory work for road construction and buildings, geotechnical investigation, and also borehole drilling for rural communities through the help of the World Bank project.
How many schools did you apply to?
I already applied to Michigan Technological University.
Did you get funding for your master's?
From the school, no, but I have personal funding from families.
Which family member is sponsoring your education?
My father.
Did you take any standardized test like GRE?
No, sir.
Why?
Because my program does not necessarily require any of those tests when I was applying for it.
Okay. So I want to stop the interview here because I already have an idea of what is going on. So Stanley, should I go first with my feedback?
No, of course, go ahead with
Okay. Okay. So I asked you why did you choose the university you claim that you are going to, MTU, Michigan Tech. And for me, I think that the response was too vague. You didn't give me enough or maybe compelling reason why you are going to a particular school. So if you want to go to school for your master's, I think you should have like stronger reasons for going to that school. Maybe you can mention the research that is going on in that department. Maybe if there is any specialization that really interests you in geology that the school is offering. Okay, maybe if the school gave you some kind of funding or yeah, something like that. Or maybe if there is any professor you already have contact with who you want to go to the school to work with. So I think these are stronger reasons why you want to go to a school to do your master's, because master's education is a lot of investment. It is something that costs money and it takes time too. So you don't want to go there because of a very unclear or vague reason. So I think you should work on your answers in this for this particular question. Then I asked you about what you have been doing since you finished your bachelor's. So I mean, I found it difficult understanding what you were doing. So when you are talking to a VO, you have to try to be articulate because one, these people are not Nigerian. Okay, so there is that difference in accent. They're not used to Nigerian accent. So you have to try and force yourself to be very articulate. Say something that they can understand very well. Okay. Now, funding. I think this is one reason why most F1 applicants are denied funding. Okay. Because if someone cannot show enough proof that they can take care of the education, then it becomes difficult to give that person an F1 visa, which is for them to go to school. So I didn't want to ask you personal questions about this, but when you go for your interview, make sure that the statement of purpose from your parents the statement of account of your parents, okay, has enough funds, okay, to cover your tuition, okay. It has to be more than the deficit on your I-20, okay. That way you can show that I have the means to pay for my education. And believe you me, going to school here is very expensive. Honestly, it is very expensive. And some people may say that when you go to the United States, you can hustle and make money and pay your tuition. It is not as easy as they make it seem, honestly, because education here is very dense. You may not even have time to do all of that, honestly. So I mean, you have to make sure that the financial part is taken care of. And then I asked you a question which I don't normally ask. I asked you, did you take any standardized test? And that was because I noticed that you applied to one school. So why would you apply to only one school, MTU? Okay, now before I started this interview with you, I told you something that these people are actually trying to see if you are a good student, at least based on my calculation, if you are a serious student and if you have the means to pay for your school, like for your schooling. Now, one way to show that you're a good student is by taking standardized tests, okay, and also applying to more than one school. I mean, I don't see why someone would just apply to only one school. That seems like, I mean, okay, just look at it this way. If there are two persons who came to you for F1 visa, person A, all things equal, person A applied to 5 universities, person B applied to only one university. Who do you think is giving you impression of being a more serious student? Person A, right? Because this person went on to look for 5 schools to apply to. So I mean, these are the things they'll be thinking about when they will be asking you questions. And then I asked you that question about GRE just to make sure that I'm going to the right place. And you told me no. Okay. And I mean, so just try to look at your profile, try to see how you can improve your profile. Okay. I mean, I wish you good luck on your F1 interview. Like I said, I am not a VO, and you should try to build your academic profile to show that I am a serious student who deserves an F1 visa, and also I have the means to take care of my education in the United States. Okay, I don't know if you have any questions for me.
You have any question for us?
Okay. What sort of if to say that I applied to more than one schools, then at the end of the day, I wasn't. They couldn't give me admission except one school. What effect does that have on my assessment?
My aim is not to tell you what to say. Okay, let me give you an example. In 2020, I started to apply for PhD programs, for admission to PhD programs. I applied to 10 schools. Okay. What this tells someone is that this person really wants to do a PhD. Okay. So what matters is if you have applied to 5 schools, okay, you can tell the video that I applied to 5 schools. That is the question. How many schools did you apply for? To? Okay. Just tell them the number of schools, and then if another question comes after that, then that's a different thing. But as for me, I cannot tell people, because I mean I did not apply to these schools with you, so I don't know the number you apply. I'm just talking about this based on what you told me. I think one university is just too low for a master's student. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then even the funding part I talked about, one reason why you should even apply to more than one school is so that you can kind of diversify your options. Okay, because if one school does not give you funding, then that means that you have lost a whole academic section. But if you apply to 3 schools, at least you have 3 chances. That's just the intuition.
Yeah, I think that works. That works very well. Just like Obi is saying, one school, it shows, nah, this guy is not serious. But when you say you have applied to 3, 4, 5, let me tell you something. When I was looking for admission abroad, only in the US, I applied to about 5 to 6 schools in the US. In the UK, I applied to about 25 schools. Yeah. I applied to about 25 schools in the UK. In Netherlands, I applied to about 3 schools. In France, I applied to 1 school. In Austria, I applied to 1 school. And so in fact, I have applied to the whole world. If talking of, but the highest number of countries that I've applied to is UK. So this shows a kind of seriousness. Not that, well, all those schools that I was applying, I was getting admissions. They were giving, in fact, there is no school to an extent that I have applied that didn't give me admission. But unfortunately, they were not giving me full funding. Some will give me 50%, some will give me 70%. That's not what I want. I want something that will make it easy. And at the same time, just like what Obi said, Nigerians, when we are there, we have this mindset that, oh, when I get there, I will hustle and pay school fees. I pity you. It's not done. I always told people, don't have such a mindset. Try and get funding before coming here. It is not easy for those of us who have funding, trying to juggle with our GA work. I mean, when I say GA, I mean graduate assistantship work and our academics and other things. Talk more of when you are probably doing, and GA work, they also know that you have studies. Because when you have GA in your department, when you have graduate assistant in your department, your supervisor, whenever he's assigning work to you, I'm talking out of my own experience. Before my supervisor assigns work to me, she will ask me, what are your classes? What is your time of your class? I will tell her. She will now I mean, what are my days of class? I will now tell her, she will jot it down. Now, when she's not assigning me tasks, she can never assign me tasks that will encroach with my time of classes. And then she will always try to give me tasks that will not affect, even if I will do not affect my academics and all that. So they put all these things into consideration. But assuming you are probably working outside your department, or you are doing that hustle that people believe that they will come here and do, nobody have time about your classes and all that. It is still you that will find a way to fix yourself up in all these things, and it's going to be a challenge for you. So then there were some, what I wanted to add to what Obinna said is that, there were some, I must first of all commend you. One thing I must commend is that your boldness of addressing each of the questions asked is, you are good when it comes to boldness. But keeping them short, even though, yes, we advise you keep your questions, your answers short, but don't make it so short. Don't make it so as if we are here to play, as if you are there to play with us. She will just ask you, which school are you going to? Say, I'm going to Michigan State University. You stop there. It looks more unserious. I'm going to Michigan State University, whatever. I can't remember that Michigan Technological University or whatever. I'm going to this school to study masters in geology. You make her know that you know what you're going to, you know where you're going to, you know why you're going there. It's not that why are you going to this university? Say, where are you going to? Say, I'm going to. There was one guy that they are doing an interview. They asked him, where are you going to? He said he's going to US. Just like that. He's going to US to go and do what? To go and look at US and come back or something. So, in as much as you are expected to be brief in your answers, you shouldn't be so brief in such a way that, yeah. Can you hear me? Yeah, can you
Yes,
hear?
I can hear you. I can hear you.
No, it's a network issue. See, even in the US, we also have network challenges. So I think I have tried to correct some of the things. I'm trying to say talk about your boldness is okay, and then your answers should be brief, but not so brief. Don't make it look. And then the place you talked about your finance, you said my father. Well, like I always said, it's always good to be specific, but don't be so specific. Don't be too brief. So when you talk about your father, yeah, it is good to say, yes, in that kind of areas, if you say your father, probably they may be expecting you to talk about what he does. So if your father works in a strong company, well, I don't know, company is not even the best. If your father has a strong financial background, you can start talking about that. But if not, you can just say your father anyway, but don't go deep, so that you don't take the VO to where he or she never wanted to go to. Because a lot of people do a lot of things, even though it is not the correct. They will just say, my father, he works so place, he makes annual income of this. Kai, I want us to be like Obi said earlier. These people are human beings, and they know when you are lying. Or is it Obi that or someone? I think someone was the one that said it. He said they know when you are lying. How did you even come to know the annual income of your father? there are so many things that are not so necessary at that time, so that you don't give room for investigation. So, well, I have seen a lot of people who juggle over some of those things and still get away with it. But don't put yourself on a high jump. Just like Obi said earlier, this is conversation. This is you just need to relax, flow well. If your lines are flowing well, they will not have any reason to. So, and another thing is this. I don't know how you have failed your DS160, but I think privately we are going to talk about that. Your DS160, someone was asking in the chat box, what is DS160? DS160 is the form, the online form you fill when applying to embassy. The DS160 will either make or mar your application. In your DS160 is where you will fill every information about you. Your background, your school, your date of birth, in fact, your social media platforms, your sponsorship, your travel history, your criminal records, everything is a very long form. It takes you, like I told you guys earlier, I told you guys that DS160, I was filling the DS160 even till 3, because although in DS160 you have 72 hours to submit it, 72 hours to your date of interview. So even up to, I had interview on Wednesday, even on Sunday of that Wednesday, because I attended one visa mock interview on Saturday. So there was correction. There was one new thing that I learned from there. I had to go and retrieve it back again. My interview was on Wednesday. It was already on Wednesday. So I retrieved it on a Sunday and still edited it and resubmitted. And each time you resubmit your DS160, it changes your confirmation number, that confirmation ID. So what you do is, whenever you do that and it changes, you go back to your CGI portal and also make the change, effect it. Someone has lost visa because of this. So anytime you submit your DS160, make sure you go to your CGI portal and correct it there, because in your CGI portal you also fill your confirmation ID of your DS160. So make sure you do that correction there so that everything will tally. If you don't do it and your appointment letter is having a different DS160 confirmation number, while your DS160 form itself is having a different confirmation number, is not good. It will cause problem for you. So the CGI portal is the place where you look for visa appointment date. That is CGI portal. So once you get your I-20, the first thing you should do is to pay for your visa application fee of $160, and you pay at GT Bank. After paying, the next thing you should do is to move straight to CGI portal. Even though we advise you start your DS160, you can start your DS160, but you shouldn't rush to submit it immediately. You can start it up, save, and log off, so that you will be able to have a confirmation number which you are going to put in your CGI portal. So you can just start your DS160. Once after paying your $160 visa application fee, you sign up with your passport number and everything. You create a page. After you have created that page, leave it, go back and start your DS160 form. Once you start the DS160 form, as you start filling it, you will have a DS160 confirmation number. So when you have a confirmation number, you can save your DS160 and go. But make sure that you are cognizant of your secret answer. because for you to log in back to your DS-160 again, you will need to impute the 5 letters of your surname, the first 5 letters of your surname, your date of birth, I mean your year of birth, not your date of, your year of birth. If it is 1994, you write 1994. Then the secret answer, because when filling your DS-160, there will be a secret answer, a question they will ask you. So the secret answer you give, you are also going to type it there. Before it will not take you into the form and you start filling it. So take note of those things. If you don't take note of them, you cannot retrieve that DS-160 again. You cannot retrieve that one that you started filling. Then you may need to start afresh. So, and then mind you that once you start, DS-160 is always difficult when filling it, because if you spend like 20 seconds, I mean, is it 20 minutes or so on one page without saving, after you have finished typing everything and you don't save, and you have not saved, if you click, it will take you off. You will need to log in back again. It will just take you off. And if you don't save, if you log in back again, all those things that you have typed will clear. You start afresh again. The S-160 was one of the hardest form that I failed when I was applying for this visa, because each time if I don't save, it will take me out. So these are the things you should. Your DS-160 is very, very important. Don't rush to fill it and submit. A lot of people make that mistake. Once after they have this, and they will go and fill your DS-160, submit, and they will not go back to it again. No, leave your DS-160, because as you attend some of these interviews, you're learning new things. As you're learning, you're making those corrections until maybe 3 days, because they say 72 hours to your visa date. You can now submit. When that time, you know that you are set to go. Yeah. So we have one more person for interview. I don't know, Victor, are you ready? Otherwise, Victor, are you still there?
Yes, I'm ready. Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Let me take you. Let me take you briefly, and then after that we give you feedback. All right. Pass me your I-20 and your passports.
Okay, here they are.
Oh, okay. I can see which university are you going to?
I'm going to Auckland University for my bachelor degree in medical technology with a concentration in ultrasound.
Okay. So your bachelor's degree. So what are you currently doing in Nigeria?
Okay, I just finished taking my 8 months intensive teaching in all the science courses like physics, chemistry, and biology. I wasn't well grounded on it during my high school. And this was planned to help me brush up my study skill and also enable me have a solid academic background that will enable me to thrive well in my coming to the United States to study.
Okay, so
I've been working as my dad's clinic.
Okay, so why did you choose to study this course?
Okay, I choose to study medical technology because I'm highly interested in using high medical machine to view and study the inner working of the human body, and also leveraging on such machine to carry out diagnosis and treat diseases like rhodiosis.
Okay, I can see you really know what you want to study. So, how will you fund your studies in the United States?
Okay, my dad is going to sponsor me. He's a senior lecturer in the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences at University of Calabar. He's also the owner of Abundant Health Clinic, where people come for their X-ray scanning, blood banking, hematology, and others. And this clinic generates him an estimated annual income of 65 million.
Okay. So, what is your postgraduate studies? What is your postgraduate plans?
Okay, upon the completion of this degree, I'll be coming back to Nigeria to work at my dad's clinic as an ultrasound technician, where I'll be specializing in echocardiography and vascular technology. I will also be starting my long-term goal of creating an NGO that will base on health awareness, like reaching out to people in rural area, teaching them more, teaching them some health tips, more especially on how to overcome early cancer.
Okay. So, do you have any funding from the university? Do you have any funding from the university? Do you have any waiver from the university?
No, I didn't get any funding, but no, I don't have. No, I don't currently have any funding from the university, but they promised to have a financial aid after my first semester.
Okay, so can see okay, so why US? Why did you choose to go to US?
Okay,
Can you hear me?
I choose to study in US because of I can hear you. Can you hear me as well?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. I can hear you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I choose to study. Okay, I choose to study in US because of their world-class educational system, and it is a home to too many prestigious universities that offers exceptional program in medical technology I want to study. And I'm particularly interested in medical technology program offered at Oakland University due to their rigorous and comprehensive course curriculum with wide range of topic in my field.
Okay. So who are you in touch with any of the staff in the university, or what link do you have with this university?
Okay, yeah, before my application, I was able to reach out to the faculty team of my program to know the course curriculum and my chances of being accepted into his department. The man also linked me to the international office that helped me navigate my way in my application and also my visa application to avoid me from making mistakes.
Okay. Okay. So, oh, okay. I think everything looks good. Not so good, but we'll talk about it later. Yeah, okay, good luck. Do you have any, do you have any feedback to
Okay.
give to him before I make my comments? Good luck. Do you have any feedback for him? Or it's good luck there?
No, not really. I don't see much of a feedback because I feel you have this figured out. Particularly, I don't have much experience with the U.S. immigration policies, but as far as I know, going through my study countries, your responses is usually determined by the flow of the conversation and the questions that they're going to ask you. And I think you did fine. You have the critical aspects regarding funding, how your program is going to be funded. You have it figured out because most times they just want to know that you are not coming to be a liability to the system, but rather you have funding. So I think that is major. And of course, if you have bank statements, which they will see from your records, attesting to the fact that you have funding, I think that's pretty much covers it. And I also like that you are able to express yourself very confidently. I think that matters a lot. If you
talk calmly the way you do, not with any pressure, not with any anxiety, and confidently, that really goes a long way to reinforce your position. So I think you'll be fine. And personally, I wish you all the best, and let's also hear of any other feedback from the team.
Okay, so Victor, I think you have first of all, I have to commend your boldness. You know, one thing I always like is like I told you guys is boldness. How you approach the visa officer. If you conquer that one, you have conquered almost like 50% of the challenges you're going to experience there. So, where I have challenge, I have two major challenges in your interview. One is that I feel you should have funding. I feel you should have, according to you, which means you have you don't have any funding at all. Let me tell you guys one thing. These guys knows, like you guys, like you and I know, these guys knows that our currency is weak. Whether you like it or not, these guys knows that we have a very weak currency. So when someone is having a deficit of 30,000 US dollars, check it now. Check it to Naira. See what it is. And then someone will come out and say, my father will sponsor this. What is your father doing? They see, like Obina said, schooling here is very, very expensive. And if you don't have funding, you will make it too, but it's not gonna be easy for you. Those of us that have funding, it's not easy for us. Talk more of those that doesn't have funding. Because we have funding as it is now. I don't think much about work, because definitely month end, on Friday, I got my GA for the month of March, and I was able to pay my house rent. So I have no issue. But assuming I still have to, I still have to go and look for work. Some people even do night shift. As I'm talking to you now, once I drop this call now, I already have an assignment that I'm supposed to submit. So, and me and some of my classmates, we fixed to meet by 6 p.m. This is to 5. So as I'm dropping this call, I'm going to school. We will start that assignment, and I know that assignment will take us till like 10 p.m. this night, because the deadline to submit it is 11:59 p.m. today. So once I drop this call, I'm leaving my house now to school. So if I am working, if not that I'm being funded, will I be talking about going to school now? I should be talking about where to go and look for where to make money. Because if you don't pay your school fees, there is time. Once you don't pay your school fees, they will just remove you from the program, and you will fall out of status. And when you fall out of status, you are staying in the US is now invalid. You are staying in the US. You are now, if police catch you, they will just bundle you home.
Sorry to cut you off. Like, my plan is that if I'm able to succeed in coming, because I've already applied to college, I will transfer to. So my plan is to transfer to community college. I've already applied to college.
That is, yes, of course. We are saying the same thing. What you do when you come, I mean, what you do when you come doesn't matter really much now. What matters now is what you will do to come. And you need to convince them that you can survive here. That is the point. So what you do, a lot of people come here and they switch programs. I have a friend whom I came here with last year. He's now in another university. He switched because he came here, he started applying to another university, and then the other, because in NIU, he didn't give him full funding. So when he came, he was able to come here. So when he came, he started applying to other universities, and he got full funding for January. He left NIU. He didn't continue in January this year. So you can possibly, and then once you change, you can transfer your savings. Can transfer your savings to the new school, and you can even transfer your credit, the ones you have done in the other school, especially if the courses are related. You can transfer your credit load, your credit units. So you don't need to go back, and maybe if you have done 2 semesters, you go and start afresh. So you just need to start from the 3rd semester, because you've done 2 semesters already. So that is how it works here. So what you do when you have arrived here is not your challenge now. What you should be thinking about is how you will come here. When you come here, you can smuggle your way out. A lot of people come here, they come without funding, they still smuggle themselves out. It is not easy on them, but they eventually succeed. Niger guys they carry last anywhere we go. So that is it. So no problem. All these things, I think a lot of people are learning from this, and I hope you'll streamline yourself, prepare yourself well. Like Obina said, US visa interview is not a do or die. It's not something you should kill yourself about, but you should just prepare yourself. Be open for anything that will come. Forget about whatever they are saying. Forget about, even if they have, like I told you my story, 4 people were denied before me, and I became the 5th person that was approved. So if that can happen to me and I survived, any other person can survive. So that is it. Someone was asking what's the best answer to give when they ask you if you have relative in the US. Those answers, those things, please try to avoid those kind of things. Don't give them the impression. Don't give them any slightest impression that you're not going to come back to Nigeria. Because when you say that you have someone here, it is already a red flag for you. Then it means that there is possibility that you're going to stay back here when you finish. So if, like I always say, if the person that is here has nothing to do with your academics, he is not sponsoring you, he's not doing anything, forget about him. Don't mention him in your DS1Cs. Don't mention him anywhere. Yeah, I have my cousin is somewhere here, but I didn't mention him. So it's not necessary to mention someone that has nothing to do with your your academics. It's you don't need it. So then finally, before we go, there are a lot of people always come to ask about. Okay, before I go to what I want to do now, does anybody have any question again? Okay, so what I wanted to do now is to show some of you guys.
Please, I have a question.
Yeah, I want to talk about the educational.
I didn't hear you. Uzioma? Hello? Can you people hear me? Can you guys hear me? Oh, it's like
no, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me? But can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
So which means he's from his network.
I can hear you now.
Which means he's from his network. You were saying something.
Yes, I can hear you now. I can hear you.
Okay. Uzioma, we can't hear you.
Yeah, as in, maybe your network was kind of breaking then.
Okay.
So what I was saying is in regards to the educational background feeling, because that point says post secondary. That point says post secondary education. So I think I don't know whether it applies to everybody, but for someone me that has been applying for PhD, it said post secondary. That means after secondary education. So there was no need of me filling my WAEC because since it mentioned post-secondary.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You are going for a PhD. At least if you fill your BSc and your master's, you're good to go. Because most times why you need to feel like at least 2 of your background, of your academic background, is for them because they do profiling. They do profiling of your DS-160. What I mean by profiling is they check everything. Number one, they will check your undergraduate, whether it is connected, who is disturbing me? Whether it is connected with your master's and your PhD. So those are the things they check. They check, for instance, you are going for chemistry, yes. In your master's, you did something related to chemistry. In your undergraduate, you also did biochemistry. So it's chemistry. Everything is related, everything is connected. So that is why it is required that you fill those. That's why it is necessary. So I remember one of the things that made me to run back to my DS-160 was I went and filled that I have someone here in the US. And when I went to one of those interviews, one of those virtual interviews, mock interviews, someone who was denied came to give his testimony of how he was denied. Because in the interview, most times, people that were denied also come to say their experiences so that people who have not gone with learn from their mistakes. So although not a lot of people like to do that, but few persons who were denied always comes back to help us in those days. And I encourage them so. In fact, I like them. In fact, I thank them so much because it's not everybody that will. An average Nigerian, when he's denied and he's coming to tell you so that you will go and get approved, that kind of mentality, it's rare. So people like that comes to tell us why they were denied, I always praise them. So from there, I learned a lot of things and it helped me to scale through. So it is always good to follow up on some of these things. It will help you. Then what I wanted to show you guys now, there are some people that always come to my DM to ask how they will get universities. See, to get university, we have that our website, Education Africa Scholars, Edu Africa Scholars. I want to open it now. I don't know. Can you people see my screen? Hello, can you people
Yeah.
can
Yes.
you hear me? Can you see my screen?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we can see it. I can see it.
In this, I don't know what is wrong with this thing. So here in this website, this is our website where we post a lot of opportunities and where we post a lot of articles and we post a lot of universities. Each university we have, like now, for instance, this one is top universities in the United States that doesn't require GRE. Now, whenever we post any article here, we provide the link to the university. So what we expect you to do is when you, like, for instance, these are the universities that doesn't require GRE. So when you go here, simply go, about 15 universities. There's no way you go through these 15 universities and you not get admission. You click on the university, it takes you to the university website. Very simple. We provide the links to the university website. And then when you get to the university website, these are the places you can search for courses. What most of you want is spoonfooning. How do they speak it in English? To spoon feed you. There are a lot of things you should do by yourselves. When we have provided resources for you, the rest are in your hands. When you do some, like I told you guys, I applied to over 25 universities. I didn't even have the luxury of people telling me how to go and look for a search for universities. These things are there. But now in our website, we provide these universities, we provide the links to the universities. You simply go there. This is admission. When you go to the admission, the admission this thing, you click on the admission, and then it will take you to the admission, and then it will take you to the programs they are offering. And then you will search the programs you want to do. From there, you will look at the requirements of each of the programs. When you look at the requirements of each of the programs, then you will be able to start your application from there. They will take you, if you look at their requirements and see that you have what it takes to